Welcome to the first edition of the Flyer Magazine. I'm Kyle Hansen.
And I'm Ray Mattern. We're both students here at the Little Falls Community High School in a journalism for broadcast class. Flyer Magazine is designed to present stories produced by student journalists about interest to the school and community.
There are a wide variety of class offerings for students here at the high school that help students prepare for lifelong learning. Math, science, and language arts and other core subjects make up the majority of classes students take, but the high school also has excellent arts electives. Reporter Charlie Norman gives a look at a high school department that sounds good to many students.
Among the array of artistic programs at our school, two really stand out, musically that is. The opportunity to be a part of the concert choir and wind ensemble is one that many students take part in.
Since I started here 10 years ago, it was a lot smaller. The concert choir usually ran about 25 students. Mixed choir was pretty good size, but the concert choir was a lot smaller. So we're trying to increase that number in the high school. The students need to experience a lot of different music. I don't try to make students professional or polished in anything we do. I try to expose them to a lot of different things, trying to open their eyes to new music. The other thing I wanted them to experience is that music is fun and enjoyable.
These gifted performers show off their skills in many concerts throughout the years. Each concert has a different taste, allowing the students to experience many different styles of music.
When I program music, I try to do different music for all the concerts. It's very important that we expose students, as I've said, to different varieties, not only because of the music that they learn, but you learn different things about music with different kinds of music. Music from Africa is very rhythmically based, and so we do African music to work on rhythm and feeling pulse and all that thing.
While these gifted vocalists are warming up their vocal cords for the next concert, the wind ensemble is down the hall rocking the house, the schoolhouse that is. Like choir director Mark Hemingway, Mr. Dwight Nelson wants to distill in his students a love for music that will last a lifetime.
Most important thing is develop a work ethic. I like to use music as a tool for their future adult life.
Even with strong programs, there are bound to be little things that they would like to change.
I think that what I would like to see is more dedication in the kids. I'm dealing with competing with their time, and they have to have a social life, they have to have an academic life, they have to have a family life, and to compete with all that and still get them to be dedicated to be as good as they possibly can.
To be a good musician, it takes a lot of practice and good training. The music directors here at Little Falls had very different experiences in high school.
I came from a very small high school, and so my music classes were pretty poor quality. I never sang in a choir this size. We didn't have voice lessons, and I was an awful singer in high school. I was a miserable singer.
We had one concert band, and it was very good. We didn't have a jazz program. We had a very good band, and I think the kids here have a very good band. So a lot of the music that I played in high school, I'm sharing with the kids today. In fact, if anything, I think we're playing probably a little more difficult music than I did when I was in school.
We all got to be able to work together and understand each other, and music's a wonderful way to understand other cultures.
With music directors of this caliber, we're bound to hear some good things in the future. For Flyer Media Productions, I'm Charlie Norman.
It's easy to understand why many students love music, but some people have a tougher time figuring out those who love math. Math is part of our everyday life, even if we don't always realize it. But there are those who have taken their involvement with math to a next level. Josh Andrews discovers there is a special organization for these math-loving students.
This usually isn't the first thing you think of when you think of math. Frustrating tests and unending homework come rarely to mind. Oddly enough, some students do math tests for fun.
Oh yeah, you're right. And I worked it out.
I joined Math League because I wanted to. I joined Math League in 6th grade because I thought it would be a good opportunity to improve my math skills and meet other people. Well, Math League has benefited me because we get to take different kinds of tests on math subjects that we don't cover in the classroom, and then things we do learn in Math League, then we can apply to the classroom.
There are 5 different types of tests, 4 individual and 1 team. The topics range from calculus to geometry. The tests range from A to D, A being easy and D being hard.
From Little Falls, Matt Kotek. I've got to try this again, 4th place, Matt Kotek.
Better.
That wasn't right. And there's a 4-way tie this year for 7th, and that's Aaron Magnan, Eric Hovey, Adrian Preston, and Bob Willenbrink. Would they come up?
And in Math League, and who've scored consistently well over the years, and who are intending to come to St. Cloud State next year. And so I do have 2 scholarships to award for those folks in that situation.
Kevin did excellent. I did not.
Points, please.
I got 1 wrong. Tonight it's separated by 2 points, and it went the right way. And Tech will be going to the state tournament representing our division.
We're doing 3rd against St. Cloud Tech.
Mr. Kula teaches math at Little Falls. He also coaches the Math League team.
Became the coach of the Little Falls Math League team. As a teacher, I think anytime you can extend what you do in the classroom is really the benefit. I get to look at problems that I wouldn't be able to look at in a textbook. They do have coaches' conferences over the summer. I get to go out and meet with other coaches. I think in a lot of ways it's a fun way to do some math that you don't get to learn in high school. You get to practice some of the problems that you don't learn in your regular curriculum. It's a chance to be recognized as a good math student. And the competitions are fun. The tests aren't that long. They're 12-minute tests, and the rest of the time is basically social time, which is kind of nice.
Let's switch gears here from brains to brawn. Sports are a big part of many students' lives, but not everyone wants to make the commitment to the varsity program. That's where sports such as intramural basketball come in. Intramural basketball has a long tradition here in Little Falls. Justin Kofed takes a look at the sport and at recent controversial changes.
Intramural basketball is a recreational activity that has become a big attraction in Little Falls High School. It's a club or extracurricular activity that allows kids to have fun playing basketball against their peers and not have to worry about doing bad. Intramural basketball is also a great option for students who don't want to play basketball at the varsity level because of the commitment and pressure put on them. Here's Mr. Furr. He is the man in charge of setting up all the games along with reffing them too. When asked about how long intramural basketball has been going on, with the championship game being played in front of the school, he said,
I've been involved with it for about 22, 23 years, and it had been going on quite a long time before that, so it's been quite a tradition for a long time. As long as I can remember, we've always had the championship game. In fact, the early years, the intramural champions then took on certain staff, the faculty game, and that turned out all right, except I think the intramural kids got tired of getting their butts kicked all the time, so I think that put a stop to that.
When students and teachers were asked how they felt about the championship game being changed from in front of the school during school hours to a night game with a fee for anyone who comes, they reply,
The night game will be a lot less fun because people got to pay to get in it, and I don't think as many people will show up.
I think that's fine. I don't think it needs to be held in the middle of the day. They're still getting their exercise and fitness and stuff in, and it's not taking up time when kids should be in class learning.
The final game is crappy because I like playing in front of the girls, you know.
I just soon see it being played in front of the school, or at least part of the game, like we've been doing the last few years.
By watching intramural basketball games, you will find that the players take this stuff seriously. They begin with a pregame warm-up that consists of shooting and getting loosened up. Once tip-off is passed, the game becomes very physical and tiresome, which results in players needing to sit out. As the season winds to an end, the teams still have the fans' support. When the fans and players are asked who's going to win the championship this season, they reply,
I like them DWOC guys, but they don't have a chance.
I would have to say out of the teams I saw play so far this year, DWOC would win it.
DWOC all the way, baby.
If you haven't caught a game this season and would like to, there are still a few, so free up your schedule and come check one out.
Sports like basketball, wrestling, and football have been part of high schools for many, many years. Recently, some new sports opportunities have been added for Little Falls High School students. Boys and girls soccer started varsity play this past fall. And this winter, the fastest growing high school sport in the state has also come to Little Falls, girls hockey. Beth Rocco gives us a first-hand look at the team.
Away from last year. Just this year, it became a high school sport. I asked Mr. Johnson what he thought of how the season was going.
The season started out considerably better than it was last year because we have a number of people who are returning from last year and have come such a long ways that, I mean, it's really noticeable. Especially, I mean, the first time we stepped on the ice, I said, wow, this is way different than it was last year.
I encourage any girl who's thinking about joining to join girls hockey. Not only do you have fun, you learn new relationships with your teammates.
Watching red now. Keep it in, keep it in, keep it in! We gotta go again!
Our coach, Mr. Johnson, is new at coaching girls hockey, but not new at the sport. His hockey background includes going through the Wilmer systems till age 18. He was in NDSU college intramurals, coached NDSU Bantams hockey at the same time, and he was St. Cloud Assistant Tech High School varsity coach. He was the Icebreakers defense and junior varsity coach for 1 year, and this is his second year coaching girls hockey. He teaches us a lot about the game, and if you're scared that you don't know how to play, that's okay. He'll help you. The girls have a total of 14 games this year. They're looking forward to seeing all sorts of fans stop by.
Hockey is a big part of winter in Minnesota. Another big part of winter is the cold and flu season. To stop the spread of bacteria and viruses, we all learn in kindergarten to wash our hands before we eat. Sounds simple enough. We know it's important. We know it's the right thing to do. But at the high school, it's not always easy or convenient to follow that simple rule. Kent Binger explains.
Starting line. Engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up. Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. Fuel burning fast on an empty tank. Reckless and wild, they pour through the turns. Their prowess is potent and secretly stern as they speed.
Most of the guys that I know don't even wash their hands after going to the bathroom.
I don't know, I'd say maybe half of them wash their hands before lunch.
I'd say about 10%. More people wash their hands after lunch than before lunch. The only ones that take the time to wipe the grime, they just want to get in line.
Now and then I'll wash my hands sometimes, but most people. Plus, the soap dispenser is usually empty, so it doesn't really pay to do it.
The thing I don't like about the bathrooms is that there's rarely soap.
the first thing we do in the morning is wash our hands and sanitize them before we do anything once we get here.
Be more inclined while they're waiting in lunch line to wash their hands if there were a sink right out by the lunch line where people could wash. Perhaps it would cut down on some of the illness that we have in our district. I think we really need to look at some of the health and safety issues. Wash our hands before we eat, and what simpler way than to have a sink right there.
This is where the children congregate for lunch, and also where we propose to put the foot-operated Bradley sink.
We all know that colds are spread by viruses and not exposure to the weather outside in Minnesota. It might be cold outside, but the snow provides us with many opportunities to get out and enjoy activities that people in the southern climates can't experience. That's the philosophy behind the Winter Activities Day at Lindbergh Elementary School. Sarah McKissick has a story.
Snow-packed winter in Minnesota, students can either stay inside, learn from books, chalkboards, and teachers, or head outside and get some hands-on learning. The students at Lindbergh Elementary chose choice B. On February 14th, they headed out to Lindbergh State Park and left the classrooms empty. Empty except for Lippy, the classroom bird. Out there in the field were 4 fifth-grade teachers, the student body, and a squad team of parental units providing a little support when needed. All of the activity that was going on kept everyone busy, but we managed to pull Mr. Staple, a teacher, out of the action, to catch why they were actually out in this kind of weather.
We're the 5th grade from Lindbergh Elementary School, and we're out here today as part of our health curriculum of healthy living. We study the respiratory system and things like that. We're out here today exercising to show aerobics, and so in Minnesota where you don't have to just sit around and be a couch potato, you can go out and have fun and exercise and things like that.
While out exploring, the students taking advantage of the snowy season, we managed to catch up with the chef of the crowd, Mr. Kolfa.
Well, they're learning life experiences where, you know, we live in central Minnesota. Some of these kids, some of them don't get to do these things because they just don't have some parents don't have the money to do some of these things, so they're getting to experience that. We're also teaching some things that they can, lifelong lessons. You know, they can go skiing and, you know, besides snowmobiling and, you know, the ice fishing that we normally do here. And then we're also, this into our grad standard program because part of grad standards is fitness.
The 5th grade students and teachers would like to give out a big thank you to the Little Falls Exchange Club, whose funding helped make this event possible. For Flyer Media Productions, this is Sarah McKissick.
Raising children is expensive for parents. That's a given. From before the day a child is born to the time that child graduates from high school, there are numerous expenses that have to be met. Perhaps the biggest expense faced by graduates and their parents is paying for college or other post-high school training. As the class of 2001 gets ready to set off into the real world, let's take a look at the steps and hoops students are going through to get ready to move on to the next phase of their lives.
Every year, millions of high school seniors begin preparing themselves for their next year as a full-time college student. The task of preparing oneself is a tedious one. This is Dean Michelson. He's a guidance counselor at Little Falls Community High School. I asked him what he thought some things kids should do to prepare themselves for college.
I think the first thing is that if they're thinking about the possibility of going to a four-year school, they need to really work on their grades starting in grade 9, because I often talk with juniors, seniors now, and they say, oh, if I'd only done better in grade 9 and 10, I wouldn't be in this situation where I maybe can't get into the school that I want to, or my choice is limited because I don't have as many options as I would have if I would have had my grades up in grade 9 and 10, then I'd be in a much better position. So grades and hopefully taking the right courses.
You want to fill this out? Me too. Who's Mr. M? Mr. Michael?
Monica Mogg is one local high school senior who has taken all the right courses and has decided to enroll in a fairly expensive college.
About $28,000 a year.
What kind of aid are you going to be getting?
Oh, financial aid, I'll probably get scholarships and loans, stuff like that.
And many other high school seniors are very enthusiastic about going to college.
I'm kind of excited, actually.
Yeah.
Are you really, 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 really excited?
Yeah.
Here's some helpful guidelines to follow when preparing for college. Gather applications from your desired college. Know the deadlines of each school you're applying for so you don't get yourself caught in a jam. Apply for admission at your desired college. Apply for financial aid so you can get some help financially. Apply for scholarships. Every community should have a list of different scholarships you can apply for, as well as scholarships from colleges of your choice. Secure housing. Make sure you get your housing application in early, as most are on a first-come, first-served basis. Enroll and attend orientation. Do not underestimate the importance of orientation. It's there for a reason. I hope this information was helpful. Reporting for Flyer Media Productions, this is Kyle Hansen.
Well, we hope you've all enjoyed today's show and that we've given you more of an insight on the Little Falls community. Thanks for watching.
If you have any comments about our program that you'd like to share with us, please call Greg Beck at the High School Media Center. His number is 616-2219. Or you can email us at flyermagazine.lfalls.k12.mn.us. For the Flyer Magazine, this is Kyle Hansen. Thanks for watching.